Batman and the Outsiders issue 2. So yeah, this is Brian Edward Hill writing with Dexter Soy on the art, and this issue is a little bit of Bruce talking to Jefferson, and obviously the Outsiders team do show up eventually, but a lot of the issues actually with the
Yeah.
the
like 2/3.
Caliber.
yeah, Caliber and the girl who they're there to save, the Meta from the
Yeah.
program,
Yeah.
and
Should we get the first thing out of the way?
Yeah.
So he's not from the future.
No, he's not Cable.
he's not. But here's the thing though, him admitting that was a joke to get her to trust him made me like him, and
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I was disappointed because I'm like, well, this story's not as interesting.
No. I was more interested because I'm like, okay, it's not just the cliche thing anymore. It was basically because the way he says it, I said that so you'd come with me, and it made me think of come with me if you want to live. He was basically cracking a Terminator joke to get some trust.
No, I get that, but it on a meta level is good. We just said that as a cliffhanger so you'd come back, and that's a bit of a slap in the face.
But I like how meta that is.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
I like that he's. Yeah, I thought he was like, no, that's not true.
I didn't because I was genuinely disappointed that it wasn't a time travel
liked
thing.
it.
I was like, oh, I hope that.
I didn't like how cliche it got towards the end with the flipping one dude showing back up.
Ishmael,
yeah, and all that stuff. Like, I was like, oh, this feels 90s as shit though. Like,
do you know what I liked about this issue? Is I like that it took time to kind of just establish, because we were introduced to these characters last issue, especially the girl, right? Sophia, thank you. Clearly I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah.
And I feel like it spent so much time with her in Caliber that, like, I felt like, okay, you're actually setting these two up as characters that I know now, and because it did that thing at the start that made them likable to me, I was like, okay, I'm not mad to actually spend time in these two. And like, she's going through this thing where she says she's not going to try and kill herself with a gun, but she actually kind of does. She puts it up to her chin.
It gets so freaking dark.
I wasn't expecting
it to get that dark.
I agree with what you just said. I think it goes too far though in the other direction. I think we go too long without our team. Our team is only on 5 pages of this book.
But I'm okay with that because it's setting the stage for.
That's such a technicality though. You're counting pages and going, they're only in 5 pages.
Because I felt it when I was reading it. I'm like, this is issue 2 of my Batman the Outsiders book, and I want to see some outsiders. And I'm like, I'm reading it, it was in my head the whole time. Like, okay, I'm going a long time without seeing.
But then when they show up, it's the Cavalry's arrived.
It's an entrance, it's that moment.
Yeah.
No, I get that. It's just too far in for me.
He's from Markovia. Caliber's like, I'm an arms dealer former arms dealer from Markovia. She's like, well, why would Batman work with an arms dealer? He's like, that's why I said former. Like, I've learned a lot from Batman, and I like that because you have Jefferson questioning Batman, because then Batman's like, I'm a symbol of fear, and he's like, yeah, but don't you want to be hope? And he's like, well, yeah, but that's what makes me work. Is if I'm all about hope, you need the darkness to go with the light.
Credit to the writing in this issue. There's a moment where when Ishmael shows up and Caliber's like, get out of here, and Sophia runs away. There's a moment where she stops, like has a moment, takes a breath. It's a really good layout in terms of the panels, and then she's like, no, and she turns around and she comes back to help him. Like, the issue does such a good job with just having them bond a little bit, making me like him a little bit, making me like her a little bit, that her finding the strength to come back and try and help him was actually a meaningful moment to me. I was like, oh, I actually kind of care.
Yeah.
So I was into this.
But I just thought the fight scene got super, like, I don't want to say generic, but I was like, oh, okay, like,
this
is just an issue 2. They're gonna have to fight.
I think the problem with the fight scene is that he just seems so overpowered. Like, Cassandra's coming in with a flying kick, and he just, she's nothing, and she's like meant to be one of the best fighters, and it's like,
it's not the best.
And then, since when do the Lazarus pits work like this?
I don't know. That was the other thing. I was like, he's like, oh, the Lazarus, because that's the case. Send in Silencer and just ice this dude, right? Like, she should be 10 times more powerful than she already is. Unless we find out he's been experimented on with the Lazarus water, and that's what he meant. Like,
but it sounds like Ra's al Ghul's taking he's a bit of a pet project.
Yeah.
With him, so, and it seems like he wants Sophia for that as well, because that's how the book ends. Is they actually do get her.
Cool. So I'm reading it that these guys, Ishmael, right? Or am I getting this from somewhere else? He gets his powers from killing metas, right? Or is that in another book?
No, I think I said that last issue.
Okay.
Maybe that.
Yeah. So I'm getting X-Men vibes from this. You know.
I'll tell you what I loved. I loved when the gun that originally Sophia had, Caliber actually blows a hole through Ishmael's arm, and I love that moment itself. But I love the page after where you see like all the like reforming and all the bits.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the because he talks about Lazarus is maybe endless, and that's when he floats up, and it's a gorgeous panel with the light.
Yeah,
the arms reforming.
I don't think for a second this is trying to retcon how Lazarus pits work. I think it's saying that no, this is different too, like just throwing someone in a pit because they died.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Like is he like taking steady doses of Lazarus like juice essentially?
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that what's happening here? It may be. But yeah, so he does get her, and she wakes up, and Ra's al Ghul's there, being like, your destiny. I'm going to teach you things. Blah blah blah. And that's what it is.
I actually think that final page is one of the ugliest in the book. I think most of the art in this is gorgeous. I don't know what it is about that last page. I don't know if it's the angle, but Ishmael's hunched over, and it's a particularly unappealing image for some reason.
I'm not seeing it. It still looks fine to me, but
yeah, fair enough.
I don't know what I could argue there. Just it looks fine to me.
So the city they're in, I'm cross-referencing stuff right now. Kadeem, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that really what?
I was gonna say Matt's got like multiple monitors. He's got a board. I'm cross-referencing. I'm fact-checking.
Yeah.
So one of the things that upset me during Arrow was saying where the League of Assassins was in Nanda Parbat.
Yeah.
That's not a League of Assassins city.
No.
Right. Nanda Parbat's Shangri-La. You have to earn yourself there. Ra's al Ghul couldn't take it over. Yeah. And I always thought it was lazy them just using that because it's from, and that's what I hate most about fandom sometimes is they allow themselves to be distracted by something that's just it's from the comics. It's fine.
People recognize this name.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see where, but I think this is the actual city of the League of Assassins, and Tynan, when he took over Red Hood, he did an arc that was set here that was really cool, back in the New 52. So I'm trying to see if this is the same city, and I can't find it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I like that. It's not Nanda Parbat; it's Kadeem, and if that's the actual city, then they could have done that in Arrow, right?
They could have done. Yeah. So. I really like the opening scene with Bruce and Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. You're showing them. Yeah, they're quite different people.
Stop Bruce Wayning at me. I believe was one line of dialogue.
Yeah. What was that? Talking about the tea. Alfred likes a British temperature. What do you mean? There's one temperature for tea. Hot.
So the art in Batman the Outsider was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Barring the last page, which I don't like, I really love the art throughout the rest of it.
Yeah. So. I actually really liked this issue. I thought this was I like this more than issue 1. I thought it was so focused and tight and just made me care about what was going on. And the team had the big heroic entrance. Matt, what will you give it?
I'll give it a 7.5. It's pretty good.
Connor?
I'll give it a 7. Art's dragging it up for me a bit.
I'm going to straight 8. I liked it a lot.